Hello again to all my food warriors and welcome back to the channel. Today we are making a centuries old dish called Farinata. And when we talk about simplicity, this is an absolute perfect example of both la cucina povera and simplicity. This is absolute peasant cooking at its best. This is a dish that uses chickpea flour and is completely vegetarian. I should say it's completely vegan for that matter. So not that Coach Joe is vegan, but you know what, as an option, that's one of those things that might appeal to you. Great vegetarian option. One of those absolutely classic recipes using chickpea flour. When you think about chickpea flour in the use in Italian cooking, there's really two recipes that come to mind: panelle and farinata. Panelle is basically a porridge of chickpea flour and water, a little bit of salt, so 3-to-1 ratio, 3 parts water, 1 part chickpea flour. A little pinch of salt. You literally simmer it and stir it for about 45 minutes and you get this thick porridge similar to a polenta. You let that cool, you cut it into thin strips, you fry it, and you get this beautiful, just absolutely fantastic product at the end. In the Sicilians, in Sicily, it's all over the place from the point of view of street food. They sell it in sandwiches. You can eat it just as a snack. Crispy on the outside, beautifully fluffy on the inside. Absolutely fantastic preparation, and maybe we'll do that on the channel one day. This preparation here is called farinata. This is essentially something similar to a chickpea pancake, somewhere between a focaccia and a pancake. Again, beautifully crispy, delicately crispy on the outside, beautifully fluffy on the inside. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic recipe. We're going to be pairing this tonight with a beautiful cucumber and tomato salad. And a couple of slices of a beautiful focaccia that I have in the oven as we speak. Anyone looking for the recipe for Rosemary Focaccia, episode 34 on the channel, you'll find it there. So we're gonna get started. We have 750 grams, or 750 mils rather, of water, just room temperature water. And what I have here is 250 grams of chickpea flour. Now this is very fine, and all I'm gonna do is just whisk my flour into my water. That's all we're going to do, and then we're going to let this sit. We're going to let the mixture sit for about an hour just to let the flour hydrate. So literally could not be simpler. I'm going to add just a pinch of salt in here as well, and that's it. And then just with a whisk, we are just going to give this a very simple stir. All we want to do is combine this together, have one beautifully homogeneous solution. We don't want any lumps here, so we just want to whisk this through beautifully gently until we have a beautifully consistent product. And then all we're going to do is we're going to set this on the counter for about an hour. We'll see as the mixture rests that you're going to have some of these bubbles that are just settling at the top. Very important that we skim those off. And then what we want in about an hour's time is a beautifully hydrated mixture, beautifully consistent mixture. Could not be simpler. So I will just give this a quick whisk, and I will see you in an hour's time. It's been about an hour. We are back. So our mixture is beautifully consistent. It's beautifully homogeneous. It has thickened up slightly, so now we are ready to go. So what we're going to do is we are going to start this off in a skillet, biggest we have, and we're going to finish this off in the oven. So we're just going to get some heat under here. We want to make sure our skillet is nice and hot. Now this dish originates from the region of Liguria. And in Liguria what they do is they cook these really in wood-fired ovens, and they have these massive pans. They cook them really thin. They're beautifully crispy on the outside and beautifully fluffy and soft and delicate on the inside. They're absolutely fantastic. We're just going to flavor ours today with just a little bit of rosemary, a little bit of fresh rosemary across the top. But really, this is one of those dishes, again, very simple, very healthy, very few ingredients, but if prepared well, absolutely fantastic. You will not miss the fact that there's no meat in this recipe at all. Certainly I don't. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our olive oil, and we are going to get some olive oil in our pan here, probably about a good 5 or 6 tablespoons. There we are. And we just want to make sure that we give this a couple of seconds on the heat. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cook this on the stovetop here for about 5 minutes. All I want to do is just to get the edges to barely set. And then from there, it's going right into a 500 degree oven, right in the middle of the oven, for about 30 30, maybe 35 minutes. If you have a convection oven, means the oven with a fan, you want to back that off a little bit, either back off on the temperature or back off on the time. But my oven is just a straight gas oven, so no convection, and so I'm going to go somewhere between, I'd say, 30 and 35 minutes. So we are just about there. We are going to get all of our mixture in our pan. There we are. There we go. So we will just scrape off the bottom here and make sure that we get everything into our pan. I'm telling you, it couldn't be simpler. Other than the olive oil here, 3 ingredients: water, salt, chickpea flour. That's it. I'm just going to get a little bit of this olive oil onto all parts of our pancake here, and this way, as it cooks, it will brown the top beautifully. So I'm just going to give this a good 5 minutes here on the heat, and then I will transfer that right into my oven. So I will see you in about 35 minutes time. We've given it about 5 minutes in the pan. I have a couple of sprigs of rosemary here. All I'm going to do, this is fresh rosemary. All I'm going to do is just sprinkle this all over my farinata. There we are. And this will give it an absolutely fantastic flavor. The rosemary will go a little bit crisp. I want to make sure we get it into that olive oil there. And so as it cooks, it will flavor the farinata, but it will also be beautifully meaty and crisp as a seasoning, and we can certainly eat that as well. There we are. So we can see this is starting to set up around the sides and in the middle. I'm going to cut the heat, throw this into the oven. I will see you in 30 minutes. All right, we are back. It has been 35 minutes on the nose, and look at this absolute beauty. Beautifully crispy on the top, it's still bubbling away. It's just out of the oven. I have a glove here just to remind myself that this is hot so I don't grab it by mistake. That rosemary has become beautifully crispy. It's flavored the oil, which in turn has flavored the farinata, and so we are just about ready to go. We're just going to give that a couple of minutes to cool while we finish off our salad. So first thing we're going to do is we have a cucumber here. In a bowl, I have here about 1.5 pounds of cherry tomatoes that I've washed. These are beautiful organic cherry tomatoes, vine ripened. We see the red all the way through. I've got these washed and just basically split in half. What I'm going to do now is just get a cucumber. I'm going to peel this up. We are going to slice this up and get it right into our salad. So we will get all of this outside peel off, and then we will remove the seeds from the inside of the cucumber. There we are. All right. So we'll just remove this off to the side. We will cut this down the middle to see what the seed situation looks like inside our cucumber. So these have a fair bit of seeds. We're just going to yard these out. I'm just going to start by running my spoon on opposite sides of this channel here. There we are. I'm going to cut this in half so it's a little more manageable to work with. And then we're just going to scrape these seeds out of our cucumber. The reason why we do this is we don't want our salad to be overly watery, and so these seeds tend to be pretty watery, so we're going to remove as many of these as we can. Sometimes we get lucky. The seed pocket inside of the cucumber is not all that large, and so we can get away by leaving it in there. Today it's a little more than I want, and so there we are. We're just going to scrape that out. All right. All right, now all we're going to do here, we are just going to cut this up beautifully fine into beautiful little slices. And so there we are. We want something to be similar in size to our tomatoes. And so as we cut these up, we'll just throw these in our bowl. There we are. And we'll get our second two. And we will slice these up as well. Now, this is a very simple salad. We can do more than what we have here. This is just tomato and cucumber. You can add a little bit of romaine lettuce. You can add a little bit of arugula. Any lettuce that you have kicking around. Today, we're just going to keep it cool. We're going to keep it crunchy. And so what we have here, just going to give this a quick stir. Beautiful tomato and cucumber. All I'm going to add to this is a little bit of salt. There we are. A little bit of freshly cracked black pepper. I'm going to give this a nice pinch of oregano. Now, if I had some fresh basil, I can add that in as well. I can add either dry oregano, dry basil to this. Whatever we have on hand is what we're going to be using today. And now I'm going to put in a good quality extra virgin olive oil. A good 4 or 5 tablespoons for this quantity. There we are. And a little bit of a good quality balsamic vinegar. There we are. And we're going to give this a quick stir. That's as simple as it gets. I mean, this gives us good texture, it gives us great crunch, and it gives us a beautiful, slightly acidic, slightly sweet, very well-balanced contrast to our farinata. So we will just give this one quick taste, just to taste the dressing here. Perfect. I wouldn't touch that. That is fantastic. So now, we will go right to the plate. First thing we're going to do, you're going to get ourselves a nice serving of our salad. This tonight will easily feed, I'd say, between 4 and 6 people. So we want to get ourselves a nice portion of that salad. There we are. Has a beautiful contrast to our farinata. We'll just put this on the dish here. Move this off to the side. What we will do now, as I come over here, I will just get right in there with the spatula. There we are. And there we are. Oh, it is beautifully crispy on the underside, which is exactly what we want. This is why we start that off in the pan as we do. And all I'm going to do here, before I put that on my plate, just going to make sure we cover this up, is I'm just going to cut this into 2 small pieces. There we are. Right like this. Right like that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Now, if this wasn't enough, we're going to take it one step further. One mighty step further. And what I have here is a beautiful rosemary focaccia that I made. We're just going to pull this guy right off our pan. A little bit of help here. There we are. we are. And we are going to get ourselves a beautiful slice of focaccia to go along with this very, very simple dinner. There we are. So we will just help this guy right off the pan and onto our board. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. I will take this guy back over to our pan. There we are. And this is the side that we will be sampling this evening. There we are. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. So we'll just move this off to the side. We will get our utensils here. Now, if we've done this right, this should be beautifully crispy on the outside and beautifully fluffy on the inside. It's rich, it's nutty, it's beautifully flaky on the outside, and it's got the texture of beautifully fluffy mashed potato on the inside. Absolutely fantastic. We're going to cut that richness with a little bit of our salad here. And the pièce de résistance, episode 34. Do try it. Do try it. Highly recommend it. Our beautiful rosemary and garlic focaccia. Simple, but very, very fulfilling. Just something that, again, feeds the body, feeds the soul. It's amazing that a handful of ingredients can provide such depth of flavor. I do hope you try it. As always, if you find the content useful, do subscribe to the channel and do share the content, as that is what we're all about. As always, this is Coach Joe saying I will see you on the next one.